Welcome, everyone. I'm Dr. Robert Coleman, coming to you from the great state of Texas in the United States. And it's my pleasure to welcome you to the second edition of Conversations with Coleman. As I mentioned in my last program, we've decided to take a fresh look at our approach to reaching you, the audience, and our membership around the world. And today, I'm so pleased to have on the program today, our past and immediate president-elects on the program to talk about IGCS, their role, how they matriculated through the society, and their views on what it's like to serve in this capacity. So we have a wonderful organization that's, as many of you know, is filled with dedicated volunteers, and I'm so pleased to have this presidential line to speak with us today about what IGCS means to them and some of the programs that we've developed. So let me first start by introducing the immediate past president, and that doesn't necessarily mean he's that old, but he is. This is Dr. Michael Quinn, who's joining us, I think, from the UK, but I never know for sure. He was president from 2016 to 2018. Michael, welcome. It's always so great to see you. We have Professor Roberto Angioli, who is a professor and chairman at the University of Rome, who is joining us today. Roberto?
Hello, glad to be here with you.
And I have President-elect Keiichi Fujiwara, who's joining us from Japan. Here we are with multiple time zones all on one call. So Keiichi, welcome. It's good to have you with us.
Thank you, Mike.
So let me start with Keiichi because it's really, as I mentioned in my last conversations, it was really upon meeting Keiichi back in the year 2000. So yes. 2 decades ago that we met at a science forum. We were both speaking and really struck up a friendship that's lasted this day. It's been enhanced by our multiple interactions, and it was really that interaction that started me on this path to wanting to know more about global medicine and how physicians and healthcare providers around the world tackle different aspects of gynecologic oncology in their own environment. So similar focus, but different resources. And it was just great to be able to start there. So that's how I got involved. And I'd be curious to hear, maybe I'll start with Keiichi. What was it that got you involved in IGCS? And tell us a little bit about what animates you about this great society. Keiichi?
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Rob. As you said that in your previous the presentation, you joined the society like 25 years ago. So I also joined IGCS in 1995, 25 years ago, which was my 5th year since I decided to be a gynecologic oncologist. At that time, I started to learning the importance of evidence-based decision-making in the clinical practice. And then I learned we need a good quality of evidences, which are created by many clinical researchers and also clinical trials. Okay, so I have realized that the process of conducting research on the clinical trials contribute not only for the generating the evidences, but also to improve the quality of daily practice. So, and the most importantly, I have learned the importance of collaboration, not only with the other physicians or investigators, but also with the multidisciplinary team, such as nurses and other co-medical staffs to support and protect our patients. So I strongly believe this is exactly the same goal that our society IGCS has. So since I joined to the IGCS, I have a great opportunity and experience working with a number of world-class leaders, such as you, Michael, Roberto and other my mentors and friends in the gynecological oncology community. And I have learned the importance of the synergies generated by working together in collegial and respectful fashion. I really enjoyed my experience. So I feel very lucky now to be a president-elect of the society, to serve for all members and for our patients all over the world. Well,
wonderful. Thank you so much. And yes, we're so happy to have you. Michael, I'll go to the other end of the spectrum, the immediate past president. It's been great to work with you over the year. How did you, come to the society, and what does it mean to you?
Well, I was lucky enough to be at the very first meeting of IGCS, which was in Holland with Peter Heinz in Utrecht. And that's when I learned about the potential for this society to really be truly international. And that was really what grabbed me and which motivated and captivated me. You know, in those days, gynecological oncology globally was just getting started. The SGO was the leader. But SGO was very exclusive at that time. And so there was a need for to internationalize and to bring people from around the globe together. And as you probably know, the main drivers at that time were Denny DiPetrillo, Peter Heinz, Paul Morrow, and Neville Hacker. And they came together and set up the Constitution, and then the first meeting was held. And I mean, for a young guy like me, it was really exciting. You were meeting up with the doyens, the people who you had only read about, whom you admired, their scientific approach, and also their total patient care. Nina Einhorn, who was one of our first presidents, E. Wilshaw, and it was, for me, just overwhelming to have the opportunity to talk with these people and to learn from them. And I was immediately struck on the potential for this as a society that could do an amazing amount of work, not just in low and middle income countries, but really across the gynecological oncology globe. So 35 years later, I'm still captivated, I'm still captured, and I still love this society.
Great, and we're not going to let you go. That's great. Roberto, as the immediate past president, maybe you can tell us a little bit about your experience and how you came involved in this.
Actually, it was quite a long time ago. I remember I was doing an internship as a medical student when I first heard about IGCS. It was 1987. I was already very interested in gynecological oncology, and I knew many IGCS representatives by reputation. For example, already Gillian Thomas was one of the founders, along with other important in future president of IGCS, such as Sergio Pecorelli, and I knew them by just reputation, just to name few. But I immediately recognized the importance of IGCS mission, since a real international exchange of ideas and protocols in gynecological oncology was lacking at the time. And I decided to adhere immediately as soon as I started the residency program in obstetrics and gynecology.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. Michael, as you had alluded to, part of the real impressive feature of the International Gynecologic Cancer Society is the international. And I know you've spent a fair amount of time trying to develop, developing programs that will help expand this. And one of these that I think has been just tremendously successful and really inviting, I love how it ties in with your initial comment about being inclusive, is the Strategic Alliance Program. Maybe you could just tell our viewers a little bit about what that program is and what we've accomplished so far.
Well, thanks very much, Rob. Yeah, basically, we had a look at our membership around about 2014, 2015, and it became clear that we were really a North American, European-dominated society. We haven't grown our membership in the last 5 to 10 years, and we were sitting around about 800 to 900 members. And so we came up with this idea that rather than approaching individuals, we might go to national societies and suggest that we would offer them as a group membership of IGCS so that we could increase our membership and increase our outreach, and in particular get to those young doctors who were members of those societies. So it was a fairly daring concept in those days, but we were lucky enough, our first society that came on board was Belarus. And since that time, we now have 21 societies that are part of our Strategic Alliance program. And into the bargain, we've struck up great partnerships with global societies, with societies like GCIG, the Trophoblast Society, the International Gynae Pathology Group, Aortic, the African group, PARSGO, the Middle Eastern group, and so on. So from a point of view of being an international society, this has, I think, been a good model. Our membership now is well over 3,000. We're growing. Other countries, national societies are speaking with us, but exploring how they can also become part of this strategic alliance. And the benefits to those societies are really enormous. And Rob, you know yourself just exactly what people get out of this. And it might be that you could go through some of those and cover what I think has been a terrific program for IGCS. And I have to say that behind the scenes, Mary has been an enormous driver of this whole concept, and we couldn't have got there without her. It's been a terrific success. Yeah,
couldn't agree more. And we'll get into a little bit about governance in a little bit, and so we can talk about how how that filled out and why those bringing Mary and building out our program, it was really important to our development. But I do want to mention, there's one of the values of being in a society like this is actually being a member in the society. And so while it's always an important aspect to join the scientific agenda with our annual meetings and the regional meetings that are put on place during the year, I think it's important for people to realize that being a member of the society is super important. And there's so many things that come with what is what we would what would be contained in what is the member benefit of being a part of this great society. And I think that access to the journal, the International Gynecologic Cancer Journal of Gynecologic Oncology, the registration discounts that people can attain, access to the educational portal, which is unbelievable, fantastic opportunities for learning, surgical videos, lots of education that's present there. The ability to participate in advocacy, something very new that we have just now started to promote and launch, also with a build out of that part of our group. And to be frank, for me, one of the great member benefit was the opportunity to be able to serve in some of the leadership roles, just to be part of the council, part of the decision making, really to be part of the future direction of society, and coming among people who have similar thoughts about what our opportunities are in a global society for bettering the care of our patients. So this has just been, I just think some of the many benefits that are available to us. Keiichi, I wondered if maybe you might expand a little bit about on some of the benefits. I think you've been part of, seeing how our outreach into the different societies has really gained value to our diverse population base. I wonder if you might say something about that, the member benefits.
Yeah. Thank you, Rob. So I think that the one of the most important the role of the IGCS is the development of the early career. So especially for the publications or research networks, building the research network is very important because those are very helpful and important for young members to have access to an international network of their peers and friends and mentors. So this helps with professional development and increases the capacity of international research and collaboration, which is important for the next generation of leaders. in the field of our patients.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, I think all of us I know really enjoy the opportunity to mentor. I can remember many times, sitting in the lobbies of hotels in Japan, going through presentations, going through manuscripts, even working on that statistical program. Just great stuff. It's just a great honor to be able to mentor and become engaged with the young investigators. They're so enthusiastic, just like we were at that time. I think Michael captured it well when he was saying, when he went to his first IGCS meeting, just being among the people that that have played an important role in the development of our specialty is just really inspiring. And this is a great opportunity. We've now allow greater access through the early publications and career network program to leaders in the field. I know, Roberto, you had also strongly taking a very positive role in how volunteering in the society can lead to a number of different member benefits, including forming the strategic direction. I thought maybe you could spend maybe just a minute just to explain a little bit about what that was for you and how you see that in how that works in society.
The volunteer is actually is one of the most important aspects of IGCS. Personally, I really recommend young physicians and people that like to be involved in IGCS to join the society. I personally, if I were working with gynecological oncology, I would immediately become an IGCS member. In addition to all what we said during this conversation, IGCS, as you were mentioning, lets member volunteer and be engaged either at the committee level or at the higher leadership level on the council. And if I became a president, anybody can become a president. A big opportunity, especially for the youngest one. IGCS gives so many chances for involvement and makes it a priority to have a diverse group weighing in on the society's strategic direction.
Thank you so much, Roberto. I think, and Michael touched on this a little earlier about how, we looked at the society and decided that it was important to make a pivot. This happened a few years ago. And I thought, Michael, maybe you could tell us a little bit about how the council structure was, the council and the governance structure of IGCS was reevaluated and strategically made a decision to move in a different direction and expand its holdings. That maybe you'd be, from the historical perspective, you could tell us a little bit about how that process happened and where we are.
Yeah, thanks, Rob. I think it was due to the realization that we had to be 100% sure that we were getting appropriate representation across the globe at the decision-making table. And of course, the council was one place to start. We also had to make sure we were getting the support that this growing organization needed. And again, this is where Mary came in, and Mary has built up, I think, a really terrific management team working behind the scenes on behalf of IGCS. So I think we would all acknowledge that. So what we have on council now, I think, is representation from North America. We have a representative from Central and South America, East, and a couple of members from Asia and Oceania. So we do cover the globe, and as time has gone on, we've realized that it's so important to mentor young people and to ensure that our committees are places that young people can go to, they can learn, and they can eventually take chairs of those committees. So I think that we have managed that pretty well. We've continued to have representation from our colleagues in radiation oncology, medical oncology, and pathology, and I think that has been of enormous value over the years. And for instance, we now have a radiation oncologist as our secretary treasurer in Anuja Jingran. So the last thing I would say is that we've also managed to very easily get in our constitution, get in our structures, the concept that we should be a gender neutral society, that we should be truly representative. And so to ensure that at least half the council members are women, and there are obvious benefits to that. And as part of that, we have a nominating committee to ensure that we get this right, and the nominating committee makes an effort to get the male-female balance right for IGCS. And unless we show that we are doing this, I think we're doing a disservice to the rest of the community. So I think that's been one of the great successes, and certainly one of the things I've been most proud of, Rob.
Yeah, no, that's, I think you hit it right on the head. I think that was one of the things that was so impressive to me was just a very forward-looking strategic plan to diversify our council. I remember you mentioning this at the very first year of your presidency, and I think you really ushered in this this process, so important today. And I think, you know, the way that council is now structurally organized with representation around the world is also so very important. And it allows us to, for each of the council members to really stake ownership in their region. So that has brought a unique look at how council performs and how it informs the rest of the leadership structure. So it's really an amazing effort, and congratulations on really starting that process. It's made us a much better and more powerful society today. Last thing, you know, I just wanted to mention, because it's that time of year, it's dues season, is you know, why, again, you know, stressing the importance of membership. As our society grows, and Michael, you mentioned it, we're now over 3,000 members. This has really ramped up a lot in a very short period of time. And of course, part of this has been our strategic programmatic attention to this through the alliance programs. But I think also it's important that with our now to an annual meeting, this is giving us the opportunity to reach our membership in a continuous fashion. And our hope is that with some new agenda items through the year, we'll continue this process with engagement of our society throughout the year in a much more interactive way. Part of it's why we started the series, was to have a little bit of FaceTime with everybody to let them know what's going on in the group. So I'm making the plea again, because Mary says I have to, is to pay your dues, become a member if you're not a member. If you're a member, pay your dues, and if you pay your dues and are active, please volunteer. We are always looking for help. We have so many great programs that are ongoing. Our education program is amazing, and our global programs are just fantastic. And what we're going to do throughout the rest of this year is actually sit down with these leaders of these committees and have them tell us a little bit about what they're doing. Again, the idea is for you to see the breadth and depth of the society, and to find an avenue, a home, hopefully, that you can volunteer and become part of the group. Well, I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up. I want to again thank our past presidents, Dr. Quinn, Dr. Angioli, and President-elect Dr. Fujiwara. And on behalf of the IGCS staff, Mary Aiken, and our team, thanks again for joining. And I'll be in touch with you shortly about what our next episode will be about, and look forward to reaching you then, and hopefully seeing you in person sometime in the near future. Stay well, stay safe, and thanks again for joining.